if you ever get a pint-sized All-Star action figure and it sells tremendously well, so well that you have to talk to your therapist about how and what do you do with all this love that people have shown you.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Whatever you do not go bed shopping 2 days afterwards, because you will think that you're entitled to comfort. And do not go bed shopping when you have had like a lot of pain in your lower back, because I swear to God, the second that the bed salesman hit that vibrate button on the Tempur-Pedic and told me like, hey, this could be your everyday, you forget. Like, you forget what money is. I mean, I'm not gonna like deplete my savings, but I'm definitely gonna go over budget on this one, and this could be my everyday. Yeah, I would say that I'm regretting my decision yet, because I haven't really paid for it all yet. Once I get everything laid out in my red and black bedroom, which will either become the kinkiest bedroom on the block or my masturbation chamber, I don't know. We'll see how that we'll see how that lays out. But yeah, so I'm trying to accept love and affection from people, and I'm also trying to get love and affection in my new bedroom on my vibrating bed.
I don't understand why a guy who mostly sleeps in tents would need a fancy bed.
Oh, ooh, good question.
Or are you not living your gimmick, you liar?
Ah!
Well, here's the thing. I'm living my gimmick more so because I've wanted to do something interesting, Tempo Pod exclusive.
Oh.
I've wanted to do this thing with the Man Scout where I start slipping in ideas that maybe not everything is done on the straight and narrow, because of you see all these, of course, like right-wing, conservative, that are usually the first ones to be the toe tappers in a Minneapolis airport.
Mm-hmm.
And like, gosh, what was that? Chairman Steele of the Republican committee, like all that, like just freaky sex he was having from dominatrix and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like I've always wanted to do that with the Man Scout, like these little things out there, like, ooh, wait a minute, this guy who's very wholesome, like he's got a side like this to him. The Man Scout is more like Effie behind closed doors than anything else. But he walks around, make sure his Man Scout shirt's tucked in and buttoned up appropriate, and the gig line is present. Like those things. Like I've wanted to dabble around with that character and the idea of that, like this guy who's supposed to be very buttoned up, but yet there's this very unique side to him behind closed doors.
Man Scout going through the Gold Dust Luna Master Slave gimmick, coming to a promotion near you.
All by himself.
But this is Timbo Pod, and I am Nick Alexander, and we are joined, as always, by Micah Lovett.
I am wearing my official vintage Eddie Guerrero Latino Heat Eddie shirt. And now that I say this, I probably should have brought it up on the other part for WWF, but what can I do now?
And we are, of course, joined by he camps, he scouts, he sleeps in a sex dungeon, apparently, the Man Scout Jake Manning.
That's right, and he will probably steal a Latino Heat hooded sweatshirt from the office that's just been sitting randomly on the floor for a month now, because it has gotten chilly, and we're doing this episode on Eddie Guerrero, and we will talk about some LWO.
I really want one of the Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler shirts that looks like it was made on Microsoft Paint. It's like so bad, but it's so cool.
Chavo rocked it so well.
You mean all the NXT shirts now?
All right, when we last left off on Eddie Guerrero, he and Dean Malenko had just burned the house down in ECW on their way to WCW, and Eddie would kick off his WCW run, wrestling just 3 of the best to ever do it. Dean, at a WCW Saturday Night taping August 30th, 95, he'd face Jushin Liger at a WCW main event taping, and of course, Alex Wright on a WCW main event.
Oh, shut your fucking mouth. Alex Wright. Show some goddamn respect, Alex Wright.
I agree with Jake. Best entrance music possibly of all time?
Oh, best of, like, on a video game, you know, if you want to pick a player and they would get they cut a promo to sell you on picking them. Like Alex Wright, I think it was either on the WCW Nitro or the Thunder game. He'd be turned to the side, which you can't see on the podcast. He'd be like turn from like his shoulder facing the camera, and then he would turn square to the camera and go, "That's right, I wrestle just like real Germans do." Like,
You know, the Germans.
I wrestle just like real Germans do. Like, what? I'm German and I'm offended.
After some dark matches, Eddie would have his first WCW Nitro TV match against Dean October 2nd, 1995. And if you just want a sum up of WCW, you have Eddie making his TV debut, Dean, I think, also making his TV debut. Two guys who just set the wrestling world on fire in Japan and in ECW. And you have these two great stars. They're coming in, you're putting them over, you're giving them this TV match, and in the middle of it, you cut to fucking Hulk Hogan for like 8 minutes. What a sign of things to come for WCW.
It's not. I was laughing throughout your build-up because I knew what you're getting to. But they don't even do a split screen. They just cut away from the entire fucking match. It's also, just to make it more surreal, you got Mongo McMichael commentating Malenko Guerrero. Don't worry, I'm actually going to give Mongo some love later. So I'm not shitting on him, Jake. I'm not shitting on him.
Okay, hold back, because this brings me up to a point that I should have brought on one of the cold opens. Sidebar, the Labor Day Cellathon, which thank you for everybody for participating in the Labor Day Cellathon, especially you, Jim Rinson, and Daniel Bessel's new Patreon members.
Yeah.
But also, too, I had the opportunity to sit down with Arn Anderson and talk for about an hour while we auctioned off some of those items.
Shit.
And as I told Nicholas that I had Arn Anderson at my disposal on camera to ask about whatever I wanted for my my entire life of loving Arn Anderson. I could ask him about anything.
Oh boy.
I wanted to talk about Steve Mongo McMichael and how he's a good wrestler and why people don't understand how good he is. I put that on camera.
Oh,
I stood by it. Arn disagreed with me, and then I came back and I said, well, you know, Arn, if he just wouldn't hit the ropes, he would have been all right. And I think Arn kind of agreed with me on that point. Yeah. So fuck all of you when you say everything about Mongo. I think Arn half-ass co-signed it on camera. Go look it up. It's on YouTube right now.
That's like if The Last Dance was only about Michael Jordan playing baseball. That's what you did with Arn Anderson.
It needed to be done.
After his Nitro debut, off to the races, he was taking on Pegasus Kid, Brian Pillman, Disco Inferno, Johnny B. Bad, and he would have his first WCW pay-per-view at 95's World War III, where he actually made it to the Final 9. And I know the Final 9 isn't like, wow, look at this push he's getting. But he was out there with Hogan, Flair, Sting, Macho Man, Luger, Arn, The Giant, and One Man Gang. Those are some pretty fancy elbows to be rubbing with when you're like a month into the company.
Dude, I mean, go back and watch this. They treat Eddie like he's the Shawn Michaels of the Royal Rumble. How there is so many close calls with Eddie almost getting thrown out. And it's like, oh, this is definitely going to be it. But no, he holds on to the ropes and shimmies himself away. They put over Eddie big time here. He's taking on Arn Anderson and Flair at the same time. But in true WCW fashion, they build Eddie up like the Shawn Michaels of the Royal Rumble, but with World War III. And then the camera isn't even on his elimination.
Yeah. And it's weird because pre-NWO, it really looked like they were going to do something with Eddie, man. Like he kept getting in these cool spots, these cool situations where he wasn't like getting the heavyweight title put on him, but like you could see that they were like, fuck, we got something here with this dude.
Well, they're putting the U.S. belt on them, those lower mid card belts, and like kind of like their equivalent of like the worker belt. Like he was definitely positioned as that guy. A feature match on WCW Saturday Night. Hey, we're gonna give him and almost he was always in like a very prime spot of Nitro too. It was definitely during a time like, hey, we really want you to see this guy wrestle.
Totally. And yeah, Nick mentioned these names, but it's really worth searching them out. The 10-16-95 bit match. It's them first getting to do it in front of everybody, which is, I mean, you know, Dean, Ben, and Guerrero, just any combination of them. Pegasus Kid and Eddie do stuff so fast and so good that you get to hear Bischoff stumbling all over himself trying to call it. It's fucking gorgeous. And he mentioned Johnny B. Bad. I have this in my notes. Watch the Eddie Guerrero, Johnny B. Bad Nitro match, 11-13-95. It's a 10-minute draw. I was shocked how good they worked together and the sequences they put together. I didn't think I was going to say that, but it's worth searching out.
Fuck you. Johnny B. Bad was good.
I know. I
Yeah, he was
forgot.
solid.
I forgot. I admit it. I forgot. He was great.
Watch him and Austin at the King of the Ring. Holy shit. Like, if
Yeah.
you want to see like an edge to Mark Mero, watch him wrestling Stone Cold because he fucking had to. Because Stone Cold was such a fucking killer, man. And both men wearing black too. Like it just, you're like, ooh, like it was like you never saw that before. Usually the baby was a lot of colors, but like Wildman was in black and Austin was in black. Yeah, fucking. But at the same time too, like you had to have the right person with Mark Mero. You just couldn't
It's
put
true.
him in there and whatever. And that's the thing too is like Austin hated working Mark Mero, even though I just put over a match where they had against each other. So clearly, like it was somebody carrying the water for somebody. Like there's even a great match of like Johnny B. Bad versus Jimmy Garvin, like out of nowhere. You got to put him in there with somebody who is just very, very talented. Where like if you kind of put him in there, I guess with a Max Muscle, it'd probably be pretty shitty.
Right.
In December 95, Eddie hit another pro wrestling milestone when he got a spot on his first ever Starrcade. Eddie would be part of the World Cup of Wrestling, a little bit of cross promotion with New Japan, and Eddie gets a Mean Gene promo on this, always a big deal. And later that night, he would take on Shinjiro Otani with WCW and New Japan tied 2-2. And as Dusty Rhodes said, this was a pivotal match, baby.
Nick mentioned the interview that Eddie got an interview with Mean Gene, and you can tell how nervous Eddie is. He's not bad, but it's so cool to see these early promos where Eddie is nervous, and he doesn't really have that charisma that he would later in the WWF. And it's like, lots of people say charisma, you either have it or you don't. Well, maybe sometimes you have it, but you're just not in the right spot to awaken it, or you're not comfortable enough to really bring it out of you. And these early Eddie promos show that, man. He's doing the babyface stuff. He's just kind of, roo-rah, let's do this. And it's so cool to see him kind of come out of his shell and really get comfortable in the ring and get comfortable on the mic and just become a fucking pro wrestler.
And the thing I think about with Eddie is like it's very true. Like you look back at that, 95, 96 Eddie Guerrero in WCW, you're like, oh, this guy was that charismatic guy. In WWE. It's very night and day. And, as a guy that's struggled with dependency on alcohol and what was going on in my mindset when I was doing that and trying to not feel things of this world and just deaden myself and shut off the emotions that are inside me. But then once I got the clarity and was able to put that in my rear view, I was able to let my personality come out, embrace myself, embrace the feeling of the world, which I still even work on to this day. I wonder if that's kind of what's going on with Eddie at this time, that he's got so much heart and passion that it's hard for him to process the love that he gets from an audience, and it's tough. And that's why he was so dependent upon alcohol and drugs, because he's trying to deaden that. And it's not until he fully embraces it later in his life that's where that charisma comes out and that wonderful person that's inside of him finally comes out. Because I look at a lot of my same promos, and it's very much like some of these early Eddie Guerrero promos. Like you're trying to be something you're not. Like if you listen back on my Art of Wrestling podcast with Colt Cabana, that is the biggest fucking disappointment of my fucking career, because I am horrible. That is the prime example of somebody who is not comfortable in their own skin, trying too hard, not knowing what to fucking say, just fucking awful. That thing should be digital. Like, I don't know if there's a way to set something on fire that's digital. Go ahead and set that on fire. Like, if you guys got an old phone, go ahead, download that, and then set that phone on fire. That's how bad that fucking podcast is, because it's just not comfortable in my own skin. And I feel like that's probably what Eddie's feeling right now, is that he's not comfortable in his own skin yet, and that's why you're seeing such a big swing. And much like you said, Micah, that charisma's in there. It just, he's hiding it because he knows if he puts that charisma out into the world and commits to that, he then puts himself out there for the possibility of critique, criticism, rejection, all of those emotions that he's probably trying to avoid, because also too, he's being told all the time he's too small, he's not good enough, he was told he's got the spot because of this and because of that. All things that I had to go through even myself, and know those things. When you're getting told that the only reason that this, or telling no all the time, you don't want to put yourself out there in such a way, because then they reject you fully. But if you only put 25% out, they're like, oh well, you only rejected 25%. I still got another 75%. You're wrong. But what's ending happening? People think that that's all you are, is that 25%. When really there's this whole 100% that once they get to see, even with all the flaws, that's where the magic is, and people can get behind that, and that's what they really want to see, not 25% of you to protect yourself from the rejection of 100% of you.
Fucking A.
And I've skated through my entire comedy career with 0% charisma, so I relate to that very much. So the refs in this Starrcade match, clearly on the payroll of the Yakuza, because Eddie gets 2 of the slowest 3 counts I've ever seen in my life, which allows Otani to eventually win on a series of roll-up attempts, which Jake said is a fish out of water spot.
Huh.
You're talking about like where they go 1, 2, 1,
And then they
2,
flip,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then they flip. Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. It's still, even an indie show, if you get a unique enough and it's done with enough fluidity, you'll still get a big applause break, a respect spot, like, oh, look at these guys. Like, even to this day, it fucking works. And also too, like, people did them all the time and then stop doing them, and then you can come back to them.
Right.
I think you can come back to them now. Well, obviously you can come to them now because people aren't seeing it all the time now, but like Tower of Doom spots came
Right.
back right before into the during times. But yeah, like Tower of Dooms came back. Respect spots, I think, we're a few months away from coming back. So like there's these flow of things that they get overdone over time.
I think Eddie is the best all time at the fish out of water spot. Like, he was so many combinations,
Yep.
so clever.
Yeah, you could probably get Mai Straw, you get any type of variation of a sunset flip into a whatever, and then turning around. Yeah, Eddie was the guy who probably made that. Him, and I would even say Jerry Lynn. Jerry Lynn would do something like that.
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
a good
too.
pull.
Like him and Jerry Lynn are top 3 in the fish out of water spot.
Sidebar, I will never correctly spell Mahi Straw Cradle.
So while in WCW, Eddie still made trips over to Japan, heading back for shots in New Japan as Black Tiger, and he even got a shot at Liger's junior title.
It is a pretty good match. The Liger match is worth checking out. One match that I saw was when Sabu had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, which, I mean, it's in Japan. We still got tables and chairs. And at the beginning of the match, Sabu assaults a fan for taking off his headwear. That was something. Check out the Black Tiger versus Koji Kanemoto 6/23/95 when Eddie hits a top rope brainbuster. That's another one of those, like, he killed the motherfucker. And then one that I have a good question for Jake on is Black Tiger versus Ben 7/13/95. This got a finish for the fucking ages. This was one of these, I have to have this tape. I have to see this in real life back in the day. Pegasus Kid reverses Eddie's top rope Frankensteiner, and he turns him around, and he hits a tombstone piledriver from the second turnbuckle, and it looks like fucking gold. And I wanted to ask Jake, is there any wrestler that you trust enough to take a second turnbuckle tombstone piledriver?
Fucking no. Nor would I ever fucking even think to fucking give it to anybody. My knee would just be fucking in the 3rd row the second hit the mat. Like, I think CM Punk was looking back at like an old match of his, and somebody posted a clip of it when he would do the Pepsi plunge.
Yeah.
And he basically said, he goes, my knees are hurting just even thinking about doing that right now. And that's just, even thinking about doing that is just absurd. Chris Hamrick would do a second rope pile driver, not even a tombstone, but just a regular one. And
Right.
fucking, I don't know if I would trust a motherfucker to do that, but fucking people did. So good on them for doing that. It ain't me. It ain't me, babe. Nah, it ain't me, babe. It ain't me you're looking for.
Do you have a move that you look back on and think, God, I was such a fucking idiot when I was young, because your like shin hurts every day now because of it or whatever?
Well, I mean, obviously the knee drop that fucked up my knee. The diving headbutt, which I think I've told on this podcast before, I would do, and in the way I would do it with my stiff back, and I'd come at such a weird angle that it would jack me up that I had to stop at certain periods of time because I felt the pinching in my nerve in my back, and that was one of them. Also, too, looking back at like me and Joey Sylvia's finishing maneuver, which was we called Death from Below, which we took it from Super Dragon and Davey Richards. they would usually do like Davey jumping off the second or from the ground, and they would do it right there. But Joey was just crazy enough to be like, he'll do a backcracker off the top rope. But see, the thing is, the way that Joey did it, he didn't kind of hang the way that Davey did. There was a little bit more forward momentum. So every time that I went for the power bomb, I'd end up being an accidental sit out power bomb.
Wow.
So it looked fucking vicious because it looked like we fucked it up about most of the time. It wasn't until I realized that I have to kind of be leaning forward to kind of absorb his momentum coming at me. So that way, like, the guy can be power bombed on top of Joey. So basically, Joey was jumping off the top rope, going for a backcracker, and then a man is then pushed into him as he takes a back bump off the fucking top, and I push a man onto him, clumsily, mind you, because I always got knocked off my fucking feet when he grabbed me, because he would always fucking bring it on the backcracker. That one was pretty fucking stupid.
How have not more people died?
Back stateside, Eddie would get into the WCW US title picture at 96 Uncensored, taking on a guy he is no stranger to, Mr. Conan.
Please, Mr. Conan is his father's name. Just
And,
Conan.
There's one thing I gotta recommend. Look up on YouTube Conan versus Eddie Guerrero feud. I don't know how they found this footage. It's like it's recorded off the old UHF channel in Mexico or whatever. Conan and Eddie's feud in Ciudad Juarez. It's went from 88 to 89, and you get to see Conan's in a mask, muscled out as fuck, looking like Bane. Eddie is cutting fiery promos. It's weird to see his promos in WCW and then watch these, because he flips out in a locker room. And one guy was nice enough to translate it in the YouTube comments. It's fucking gold for super rare stuff. Please check that out.
Then at 96 Slamboree, Eddie would get into the ever so iconic Lethal Lottery Battle Bowl. He teamed up with Arn Anderson to take on Ric Flair and Macho Man. Again, Eddie Guerrero, new to the scene. Arn Anderson, Ric Flair, Macho Man. Arn betrays Eddie with a DDT to help Rick beat up Macho Man. And this would start a feud with Eddie and the Horsemen, which, again, quite the fucking rub in the NWA's last surviving territory.
And to piggyback off of Nick, in that Slamboree Battle Bowl match, there's a spot where Eddie taps Flair on the shoulder for the old, hey, look at me. And Eddie pokes Flair right in the eyes when he turns around, and Eddie gets the biggest fucking pop of the whole match. It is so beautiful. It shows how much people loved Eddie, man.
Well, in Flair's shoot, like he talked about, he knew Eddie when he was like a child, like a kid,
yes,
and was like well aware of him, wanted to work with him, much in the same sense what I was talking last time about Colby Carino. And think about Hector, always well liked in the locker room, was there for Crockett, so obviously being around, and also too Flair knowing about Chavo Sr. and how important he was to all the territories, and being a territory guy, probably bumped into each other from time to time. And considering that Harley had so much respect for Chavo, and the amount of respect that Rick had for Harley, and respecting that whole family of the Guerreros, obviously like, oh, we got the youngest of that family. He's a good hand. Yeah. I'm Ric Flair. We got all these guys coming in trying to take me out of this top spot because I'm too fucking old. Give me this fucking young guy right here, and I'll show you I can still fucking go. Give me Eddie. I'll fucking go with him, and I'll get him over and prove to you I'm still goddamn Ric Flair.
Jake is 100% there. Their 520-96 Nitro match. Flair gives Eddie, like, he makes him a star. Flair gives him everything. They get in striking, slapping battles, and Flair always takes the face dive. I mean, he doesn't totally make him, but in that match, he fucking puts him over hard as fuck.
When Eddie was 16, he went and spent a summer with Chavo and Hector when they were working in Championship Wrestling of Florida, and he got to go backstage a lot, and Ric Flair was there, and that's kind of how he knew him. And he was like, yeah, all the stories you hear about Ric Flair, they're true. Eddie and Flair would meet at 96's Hog Wild for the U.S. title, and a matchup between two of the dirtiest players in the game. Who do you think's the dirtier wrestler overall?
As far as like cheating and nastiness, I mean, Flair was pretty good. Like, I still love the Kerry Von Erich finish that Flair would do, where he'd be in the apron, give like a shot to the stomach, and then dive in and cover him for a pin, even though his feet are on the ropes. That was always pretty smooth. And of course, just anytime that you had Flair in a tag match, and you're like, I don't trust you, Ric Flair, but I'll make you my tag partner. And then he gets attacked beforehand, and then and then Flair is beat up, can't make it. The guy's doing a handicap match, and then finally Flair comes down the apron, they tag Flair in, hits the rope, and then he punches the guy who's his tag team partner. Like, I don't know. I think as much as it pains me to say it, give Flair any fucking credit after everything he's done to me. I gotta give it to Flair.
Wow.
Although, like, Eddie took it to another fucking level later in his career, but
Yes.
this time, like, Flair is the unquestioned king.
The sound of a constantly hovering helicopter, honking motorcycles, and the ring lights turning on and off make for some great fucking atmosphere for this match.
Flair wins, of course. He cheated when he locked in the figure 4 and had Woman on the outside pull his hands for extra leverage.
And Eddie talks about in the shoot interview how this match was big for him, obviously, early in his career with Flair pay-per-view. And he was totally disappointed in it. He felt like he didn't live up to it, which would be amplified later in his career when things got bigger stakes. But just Eddie was just such a perfectionist, and he just wanted every little thing to go right. And when it didn't, he beat himself up tremendously.
I think that's a sign of someone who cares about their art. Like when not that I'm equating myself to Eddie, but like when I walk off stage, I could murder for 10 minutes or whatever. And I'm like, fuck, I missed that fucking tag. Or like I fumbled that word in the beginning joke. And like Jake, I'll see Jake go out there and set the building on fire and like have a great match. And then I'll see him after the show and he'll be like, was it okay? And it's like, yeah, it was okay. What are you talking about, Jake? Did you not hear them? Like you killed it. And it's just like, you gotta always be working on it, because once you're like, fuck yeah, that was good, you're done. Yep. That's your ceiling. You hit it.
And there you go, Nick. You and Eddie are the same. You're both mad when you have a bad tag. Thank you.
So following this feud, Eddie would start feuding with Diamond Dallas Page, and Eddie was very important in DDP's development. Eddie loved Diamond, and he loved his work ethic. The only thing they really ever clashed on is that Eddie was a call-it-on-the-fly guy, and DDP wanted everything scripted down to the last period on the paper.
Yeah, in the shoot interview, it's one of the rare times where you're like, whoa, Eddie's kind of upset.
But also, too, like, gosh, like, this is about the time, and think about it more. Maybe we don't give this enough shine in that, this is about the time in the timeline where the diamond cutter is getting traction as a finish.
Yeah.
And like it's starting to get over a little bit, but it's not to the level that it became later. Like a few months from the time of them feuding with each other, it was incredible. And I just think back to the times when Diamond would give it to Eddie, how spectacular he would make it. And I'm sure Eddie had some input. I'm like, hey, why don't you try and get in it this way or get in it that way? Or when you get the finish, come out here. Like Eddie was really kind of one of those guys that helped make that diamond cutter become like the finish it became.
Yeah.
Where like once he hits it, it's ball game, son. And when he hits it, oh shit, he fucking hit the diamond cutter. And the excitement that Page created from that wave that Page rode in 97, probably a lot of those seeds were planted right here in 96 with Eddie.
Absolutely, which could lead into two things here, is that DDP was talking on Jericho's podcast, and he said that Eddie he'd be like, all right, you got to hit it out of a power bomb. And DDP would be like, how the fuck is that even possible? And he'd be like, listen, just get me up there, shoot me, and do it, and I'll do the rest. And he'd hit this amazing diamond cutter. And then for their match at 96's Halloween Havoc, Eddie was supposed to win, but at the end of the match, Eddie started going, diamond cutter, diamond cutter. And DDP was like, what are you talking about? He hits the diamond cutter, pins Eddie, and in the back, DDP's like, why did you do that? What are you doing? And Eddie just said, it's your time, man. He felt that DDP was rising, and he was 100% right, because we're at the tail end of 96. 97, DDP explodes. 98, he's one of the most famous wrestlers on planet Earth. So Eddie saw that and was a part of it.
And I know we talked about in the Crush episode about mullets and comparing them, but is there a better mullet matchup than DDP and Eddie Guerrero? I don't think there is.
So before Dallas went off to become a big old star, he and Eddie faced off at 96's Starrcade in the final round of a tournament for the U.S. title. And Eddie was a little grumpy about this match because Eddie's the babyface here, DDP's the heel, And they have the NWO come in and fuck finish DDP, which put a bunch of heat on Eddie as the babyface.
Yeah, that was another thing where Eddie's actually upset in the shoot interview, and he's been holding on to this, and it still bothers him because he's a fucking perfectionist and he cares so much, and he hates it.
6 was part of that run-in, which led to a little feud with them over the U.S. title, and they met each other at Sold Out.
Which is a damn good ladder match, but yet again, Eddie is not happy because things didn't go exactly how he wanted it. And you go back and watch that match. It's a damn good ladder match, especially because Eddie said that was the first ever ladder match he ever was in.
Yeah, I thought it was good too.
And it's just a match that's supposed to be on an NWO pay-per-view, and he just kind of was like downplayed as like a guy that's wrestling an NWO guy, where the NWO guy needs to be shined up here. It's kind of all the match is supposed to be.
Jake, how quick into your career did you have your first ladder match?
Well, the first promotion I wrestled at, the ceiling was really low, so it was kind of impossible to have a ladder match.
Wow.
But it was very early at a tables match, like maybe 6 or 8 months in.
Wow.
And the finish was I did that Regal neck breaker where you take the guy's arm and into like a reverse diamond cutter.
Yeah.
I did that. This is so 8 months into wrestling. I did that to a guy from the apron to the floor onto a table covered in barbed wire. If we could have set it on fire, we would have. But when I did it, you can see on commentary, like the video kicks out, like you see on like Lawler getting chucked by fucking Joe LeDuc through a table. Except the only difference is the commentator wasn't silent like Lance Russell was. The commentator on live commentary, once I took that bump, was like, fuck.
Another thing about this Sold Out thing, maybe I'll edit this out, we'll see. Bischoff, great commentator, great mic worker. You have Ted DiBiase, who is also on commentary, one of the great mic workers. Those motherfuckers had no chemistry at all, and They were horrible on commentary. Blew my mind.
Sometimes you get the right actor, the right director, it doesn't work. I mean, chemistry is a weird motherfucker.
Well, I mean, Eric Bischoff was looking for those mediocre chicks in the background that they Sold Out because they're in Iowa, and you got to make fun of the homely-looking women in Iowa, which if you motherfuckers would have traveled just a few miles down the road to Cedar Rapids or Iowa City, none of those girls were ordinary in the slightest, my friends. Mark my words.
We still love our ordinary girls out there, too, by the way.
So Eddie would successfully defend his U.S. title against Chris Jericho at Super Brawl 7, and of course another great match. His reign would come to an end at March 97's Uncensored, when Dean Malenko beat him for the title in a match that was full of mudhole walking and tongue wagging, baby. At this point, Eddie was starting to turn heel.
The things that really stood out to me in this match is Eddie's creativity with working Dean's leg. Just all the imaginative shit he would do to fuck up Dean's leg to sell that story. He goes for some ambitious stuff in this. It's pretty impressive.
You know, when Eddie finally was like, oh, I'm going to start working heel, you could see the transition in his face and how he walked to the ring. Just that subtle change, I think, is where you start to see that this is a different level performer.
Yep.
Because you look at when he would walk out in early 96 to now early 97, and it's like a completely different wrestler.
Yeah.
That's when you recognize that this guy's a next level performer. Before you're like, oh, I really like his match. He's a good performer. I can pay attention. And you could see him in the same light that you would see in Alex Wright. It's when you see him go so hard one way from what he was doing before, you're like, oh, this is something I need to pay attention to.
Yep.
And that's what it was to me as a fan, is seeing that just scowly look on his face. He'd wet his hair down a little more.
Yeah.
And they started playing that dun, 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 and he would just feel it when he came out. Dun, 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 dun. Like even at the stage, it's that look on his face of him walking down, like almost slithering.
Yes, it's like this like half strut, arrogant, I don't give a fuck. It's so perfect.
But the way he would scoff at the people that he would look at the ringside, he would just like, ugh, you fucking peasant piece of shit.
I've seen so many heels try to do it, and it's like awkward and like fake.
Yeah.
Eddie was just like, yeah, I'm here. I'm Eddie Guerrero. You're fucking welcome. And it felt like so real. I don't know.
I'll mark out about this later with filmmaking shit, but Eddie is a fucking great actor in general. He can act, man.
In this Dean match, we get some X-Pac interference. He comes down to steal the title belt with a camcorder, which it seems like a bad idea to film a crime you're committing. I guess never mind. Eddie tries to stop him. They wrestle over the camera. Dean gets it and clocks him with the camera, gets the pin. But an important note of this match is that Eddie would tear his pec and miss 4.5 months.
Sorry, Nick. Were you about to make a China joke? With the
I thought that.
Okay. I thought that's what was happening.
He doesn't want to upset his boy, Sean. You guys know Sean, right? Sean's his boy, Sean Waldman. Yeah. We got a regular Rob Feinstein over here that anytime we bring up X-Pac, he's like, "Oh, you mean Sean?" Instead of like, "Oh, Raven." "Oh, you mean Scott Levy?" You know, like anytime we bring up X-Pac, "Oh, you mean Sean Waltman." And then Jerry Lynn wrestled Lightning Kid, which hopefully we never have to do a Jerry Lynn episode ever. When Sabu wrestled Lightning Kid, "Oh, don't you mean Sean Waltman?" Like that's what we're gonna get.
Fun fact, the first dog my dog ever met and had a play date with was Lula, Xbox dog. So
wow.
So suck it, as they say in the biz. So after healing up from his injury, Eddie would come back June 30th, 97 on Nitro, this time as a full-blown heel as he attacked Dean as he was making his entrance. And during this match, Chavo Jr. comes down to the ring. Eddie pushes Dean into him and hit the Frogeth splash on him to make a win in his comeback. And then this would be the first time we get to see this like Guerrero family, Eddie versus Chavo rivalry.
The cool little tidbit there is Tenay on commentary during this when Eddie comes out and is beating up Dean after attacking him from behind. Tenay gives a quick little Los Gringos Locos Art Bar heel history and talks about how Art and Eddie were some of the most hated motherfuckers in all of Mexico. And Tenay really helps build it up where it's kind of like that thing. Nah, you guys don't understand. This guy's a huge dick.
Eddie would get in a full-blown rivalry with Chavo, and even Hector Guerrero came out to try to teach Eddie a lesson. And they had a fun match on Nitro. Afterwards, Dean Malenko comes out to attack Eddie. Hector saves Eddie. So then Dean attacks Hector, and Eddie just walks off like such a fucking cunt, man.
He knows the moment when to be like, all right, I'm out. And I mentioned it earlier, but on the 8/25/97 Nitro, Eddie has a match with Mongo, and they do a springboard head scissor spot, and it doesn't go horribly. So I told you, Jake, I was going to put over Mongo a little bit, and it went pretty well.
No, also in that fucking match, Eddie does a fucking moonsault, and Mongo catches him for the tombstone pile driver.
That's the thing.
The thing why that worked, Mongo didn't hit the fucking ropes when that happened. That's what's like, there are so many gifts from that match. You're like, holy shit,
why?
This Mongo match is amazing. Because I'll tell you why. Eddie recognized, don't let that motherfucker hit the ropes, and this match is going to be incredible, and it fucking is. Eddie Guerrero and I were the only two people that saw it, and Steve Mongo McMichael. Don't let that motherfucker hit the ropes, and this match is going to be fucking awesome, which is what I tried to explain to Double A, Arn Anderson, WWE Hall of Famer, and one of the greatest professionals of all time. Like, no, Mongo was incredible. You just shouldn't have let that motherfucker hit the ropes. Football stands, and then catch him, and then hit him with something. We'd still be talking to him to this day.
Oh, Lord.
So as Eddie and Dean continued their feud, they would both get pulled into the cruiserweight title scene. And this is very important to me personally. This really shaped like what I love about wrestling. This is like 4th or 5th grade for me. Nitro came on at 8. Raw came out at 9. So I would watch the first hour of Nitro, which is usually a 35-minute NWO promo to set up a 6-minute fuck finish main event. And then after that, they'd play just this fucking magic that was the cruiserweight division of just, you know, Ultimo, Liger, Mysterio, and Eddie. Just all that type of stuff is the same shit I still love today. Then I would flip to see the beginning of Raw, watch the Rock promo, flip back and forth until one ended. And that was kind of how I watched wrestling for years.
Dude, it's so weird that you say that, because my very first image of a memory of getting back into wrestling after the Hogan Ultimate Warrior days was turning on Nitro. I think it's around this time. I'm not going to be totally on, but I know it's right around this time. Is Dean Malenko with the U.S. Championship walking out through the entranceway with Dean's music playing. It's like, oh, this guy's got the U.S. title. All right, I need to know this guy, the Iceman. Okay. I'm back in this now.
Does someone have a more perfect theme than Dean Malenko? That dun 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 dun. Well, as he just marches like stoically down the fucking aisle, it's so beautiful.
That, or when WCW would put up the graphics of upcoming ticket locations playing in the background. That's what it kind of sounded like. Did they use that before? The intro to WCW main event at one point in time, or whatever the fucking copyright music that they had, copyright-free music. Which we didn't talk about a whole lot on the last episode when they would come out at ECW. Like, clearly, they were of those guys that were, like, territory guys or guys that just didn't give a fuck about the entrance song because, like, they came out to... I think Eddie came out to Sad But True. Or Dean came out to Sad But True with Metallica.
I think Eddie might have come out to Animal by Pearl Jam. I might be wrong.
Yeah, maybe. Because, like, it was just like, just play whatever.
Yeah.
And anytime anybody said play whatever, they're like, okay, well, the heel's coming out to Sad But True of Metallica, and the babyface coming out to Welcome to the Jungle. Like, that was basically... And then, like, I think Eddie and Dean had that, and then all of a sudden, like, Psychosis and Ray came in. Like, what music are we play? I don't know, just play whatever. All right, Sad But True. Heel goes out first.
Run it.
I can't believe guys don't care about it. I'm not even a pro wrestler, and I'll hear a song and be like, oh, man, that'd be a great pro wrestling intro, man.
Oh, I did it for the Peterson Cup, and guys on the show thought I was a fucking psychopath. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, I don't give a shit. And they're like, and this is well before, like, I got the whole point of branding. And, of course, guys were, like, El Generico and Human Tornado were doing the thing. If I just would have fucking worked on my goddamn character.
There's a thing with the UFC pay-per-views where they always get to come out to, an actual song. And you can tell the fighters that come out to what they want. But then there's the fill-in, maybe there's a Japanese fighter who didn't give a fuck. And it's just the most basic pop 90 rock bullshit. You're like, that guy did not pick that song.
Or Flow Rider, just like.
It's easy to spot.
My song would be San Dimas by Dead and Divine. Always said that. In the Cruiserweight division, Eddie would start feuding with Chris Jericho, ending up at 97's Fall Brawl. And I'll say this literally every match. It was awesome. Like, I don't know what else to watch. All these are good.
This is one of the best matches where one of Eddie's best bits as a heel is in the very first little tie-up and the arm drag. Eddie takes an arm drag from Jericho because Jericho gets the advantage, and Eddie very quickly and calmly walks over to the ref, grabs the ref, and he demonstrates physically how Chris Jericho pulled his hair. And he wants him to be reprimanded right now. There's even later in the match, Eddie lies down in the ring to show the ref how he pulled his hair in another sequence. And the way Eddie would physically just like, no, I need to show you something. You come here right now. I mean, it's another level to how he knew physical comedy to the heelness rather than just generating heat from just being a scowly motherfucker. He knew how to be kind of funny and dastardly, but he nailed the spot where you're laughing at him, but you're like, you asshole.
My favorite spot in this match is they do a gory special reversal, almost like a reverse tombstone spot. And then Jericho gives Eddie a backwards Alabama slammer out of the gory special. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, it was gorgeous, man.
Eddie gets the win and the Cruiserweight title. Then we get to a match that is probably in the top 5 or top 10 matches of literally every pro wrestling fan. 1997, Halloween Havoc, Eddie and Rey Mysterio Jr. Holy fucking shit.
I think I need to hit on a theme that we've already hit on before, and this is a quote from Eddie. I love Rey like my little brother. He has no fear in the ring with me, which is a compliment to me.
I mean, you look at this match, and it's just clearly such an aberration, a delineation from what is going on at the time, even for like the Cruiserweight stuff, where they're just like, Eddie recognizes this breakout talent of Rey Mysterio and just anything under the sun. Let's not, like, it's one of those things. It's a match you would see at PWG on a regular basis now today.
Yeah.
It's a match that like a Ricochet or a Will Ospreay would point to as an inspiration to them and how they push forward their art form. If Eddie didn't have as much love with Cornette, I'm sure Cornette would shit all over this fucking match because it is
Wendy's.
And I've explained this to a lot of guys that are a younger generation to me, is that sometimes you just need to go out there and just go all for it at the right fucking time, because this is one of those rare occasions where the spots and of the match will be that 4 or 5-star match. I mean, the story is like, okay, we're refeuding, yada yada, the winner of this. I mean, there's not like a big year-long story. This is one of those cases where the spots do make the 4 or 5-star match.
Right, yeah.
But you have to swing so much for the fences. And then even this one, too, they're not everything that they hit is as clean as it should be or accurately. There's a few flubs here and there. But they are going for a home run every time they go to the plate for a spot. Do that on pay-per-view, to do this at a time when they're probably like, these small guys, they're just going to do whatever. But really going forward and pushing forward of it. It is of the same essence that Tiger Mask and Dynamite Kid was. It's of the same essence that we see of guys today like a Ricochet and Ospreay, of just pushing the art form and doing something that you've never seen before, going for it, balls out, let's do something that they've never fucking seen before. And like I said, this is a match that something like a PWG was based off of, and for them to swing for the fences as hard as they did on this one, I mean, a lot of people will point to this match as being such a inspiration for people. This is one of the rare cases. This is the 1%. Like I always say this about 4 or 5-star matches. A lot of them have come up because there's a concern around a story, and we don't give that enough credit. But this is one of that smaller percentage, because a small percentage of the time, the spots, the things you do makes the 4 or 5-star match. And this is one of those occasions, those rare aberrations that everybody's trying to chase after, that is actually harder to do as opposed to building a story for a year long and then executing upon the finale of some sort of match and executing it at a very high level. Just going out there, not necessarily cold, but coming into it like this and letting the spots elevate the work to a level that few have ever attained.
I would honestly like to watch this match with you and kind of analyze and see what you think kind of is off. On the rewatch, I think the only botch is there's a spot early in the match where Ray does a cartwheel handspring type thing. And when you watch it, you can tell Ray's kind of off. And what's so amazing is that Eddie recognizes this.
Yeah.
And he quickly goes over to him and grabs Ray in midair and slams him into a really fucking brutal looking back suplex. And it looks a little off because, maybe they're trying a new spot, but it looks like it's an audible. But the fact that Eddie called an audible in a fucking microsecond is more impressive than the spot that they probably had in mind. I mean, I could be wrong. I could be talking about my dumb fucking pretentious ass. But watching it back, it feels like that it was like, oh shit, Eddie's like, nope, I got this. Bam, spot saved, impact, crowd pops. It fucking blew me away on rewatch.
That's how Eddie wrestled. Everything that was happening was really happening, and he was really reacting to it.
I think Jake is right. Not everything in this is 100% fluid. But it's just, I feel like they nail it. It's not 100% fluid, but I feel like there's nothing except that one little moment that feels off. And it goes for 14 minutes of craziness, and that's what's insane. The springboard backflip DDT is a spot.
That's one of my favorite spots in any match all time ever. It's fucking beautiful. It's so insane.
There's even a shot that I found of the reverse angle, and it still works in that angle. It's just one of those spots where you're like, wow, how do human beings do that? Fucking blew me away, man.
So while Halloween Havoc is the Eddie Ray match to watch, their feud wasn't over, and literally all these matches are good. But on November 10th, Nitro, Eddie won the Cruiserweight title back from Ray. Eddie again held on to the title at World War III. And then rounding out Eddie's Cruiserweight title run here, he'd hold on against the Iceman at Starrcade 97. Then the next night on Nitro, he would drop it to Ultimo Dragon in about 90 seconds. So kind of like a weird crash landing for his title run.
It's so weird because he goes in there, they wrestle. There's a Dragon Sleeper spot scare. And then it's like, wait, Eddie just tapped. What the fuck just happened?
And then we get a little deeper into an Eddie Chavo feud. And it's a fun kind of like full circle where Eddie starts out as the bully and Chavo slowly ramps up his craziness to where the feud shifts and tilts, and to where Eddie's like the guy who's like, oh, Jesus.
Dude, Crazy Chavo is one of my favorite comedic anythings ever. Just the here, Eddie, 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 and Pepe, and God. Eddie's reactions to Chavo's craziness is a highlight, showing how Eddie can react to people and not just be the instigator.
Well, it's also incredible that Chavo hopefully this doesn't come off disrespectful because I really fucking love Chavo. His character at this time was so over the top, and he's so good with character work in WCW. But like when he got to like WWE, he's like, yeah, I'm Chavo, I'm Eddie's nephew.
You're so right.
You know, like we never got to see that big fucking character out of Chavo. It was almost they went in reverse, where like Eddie kind of started off as, yeah, I'm a part of the Guerrero family, and then he became this larger than life character, where it's almost like Chavo got small when he went later in his career, where like he's so big right here. And I would say like this is very early in Chavo's career. He was kind of lanky, a little awkward.
Yeah.
He wasn't quite the performer that he was. Like I still hold up Great American Bash 2004, Rey Mysterio, Chavo Guerrero Jr. That fucking match should be taught in every fucking wrestling school across the fucking planet on how to still do high spots while telling a story, working over a body part, and then still selling it, but still hitting your move set. It should be taught everywhere on every fucking wrestling school on the fucking planet. Just, it's fucking beautiful. Beautiful psychology, executed perfectly. Incredible. But like over here, like you can clearly, as in my young mind, I'm like, oh, this Chavo Guerrero Jr. is a little too left feet right here, you know. But as a character, like he's so over the top that you just fucking, this is great, you know. And of course, Eddie's gonna get in there and he's gonna crush it.
Chavo and Eddie would go on to have a couple matches against each other. At the Great American Bash, Chavo got an upset win with a springboard DDT, and then they'd have a hair versus hair match at Bash at the Beach.
And Tenay is such a great nerd that at the beginning of the match says Eddie Guerrero is 5-1 in hair matches leading into this.
God bless Mike today, but like he's the guy who waits for penguins to come up in conversation, and then he's like, they mate for life, right? Like he always has like a fucking fact ready to go at all times.
And works the conversation towards that. Like, hey, have you guys taken any interesting cruises, like maybe to like South America or maybe one of those northern cruises, where they got the icebergs? You guys ever taken one of those before? Like where you see, what are they called? Yeah. Oh, you mean penguins? Oh, by the way, penguins. Let me tell you about them.
So at this Bash at the Beach match, they did something pretty fun. Chavo had a match before the Eddie Chavo match against Stevie Ray. So Eddie thought he was going to have this big, upper hand. And then Chavo submits to Stevie Ray's handshake. It's like great comedy.
It's brilliant. It's fucking brilliant.
And then Eddie and Chavo themselves have like a fucking great comedy match, which is not something you really got to see often in mainstream wrestling during the 90s.
I mean, when you get to see Chavo starting to shave his own head, I mean, that's the height of it.
Yes, much like Micah, who did not know that Nels faced Virgil at 92 SummerSlam, Chavo descends into madness and shaves his own head.
Fuck you. Join our Patreon so you can hear me lose a WWF trivia contest to Nick, and that's why my head is shaved currently.
Following the Chavo feud, Eddie kept working in these opening matches, the cruiserweight scene. It's all well and good, but his ceiling was definitely the middle of the card. And it's Eddie Guerrero, one of the best wrestlers on the planet. So he was starting to get a little frustrated. He confronted Eric Bischoff. He demanded either a push or a raise, not knowing in order to get either, Eddie would have had to have a WWF run 10 years ago or be Hulk Hogan's friend. And this leads to kind of like a blur of kayfabe and reality when Eddie openly rebelled against Bischoff on TV, and they even get that famous Bryan Adams match, August 31st, 98 on Nitro, where Eddie just lays down for him.
One of the coolest moments in that match, Eddie when he gets on his knees and presents his jaw on a silver platter to Bryan. In that moment, the crowd starts chanting, Eddie, Eddie, Eddie. I mean, it truly surprised me, and it's gorgeous, man.
It's kind of like the same thesis statement that I had when I was doing my Under for Life thing.
Yeah.
Glaringly calling out the fact like, hey, I feel like I deserve better.
Yeah.
But the people that write people's names on a piece of paper in the back feel I'm not worth it. Now, you guys know. You guys know I'm talented. You know I deserve better. But until this one fucking person over here changes his fucking mind, I'm going to sit in the same exact fucking spot. And I could just go on and not acknowledge that because you're like, you guys should do better. You should do better. I hear the things, and I'm sure people said, man, you're so good. They should do more with you. But I can't because one fucking person won't fucking do it and is fucking deaf to the reactions I get, is blind to the reactions that I get, and there's nothing I can fucking do because he's the one person that makes all the fucking decisions. So, okay. You want me to lose? Well, guess what? While I fucking lose, I'm basically going to wink to those people out in the crowd and be like, hey, you know I'm better than this, right? You know that one person's telling me to fucking do this. And it really does break kayfabe in a sense of like, hey, there's winners and losers, and I'm slotted to be the loser all the time. They don't fucking believe in me.
Yeah.
You guys believe in me, and what that ends up doing is creates a rebellion with the crowd. And most professional wrestling fans, they watch for the rebellion of it all. They like the rebel, the guy that's pushing against. So a guy that's pushing against the system is always a guy they're going to root for. So if you lean into that hard and tell people like, hey, they're making me lose every match, just let you know that they're making me lose every match. I'm going to lose every time. And they're like, man, that's fucking bullshit. Fuck them. You're awesome. You have now made a good guy and a bad guy, and you've become the ultimate good guy. Doing something like that is basically what he's trying to do. It's an age-old story. A guy tries to push against the system.
And Nick's the whole kayfabe mixing with reality. The story goes that, the story is true that when Eric was told from Eddie that he wanted the raise or the push, that Eric Bischoff threw coffee at his feet or threw coffee on him. And at the end of Eddie's first promo, he's holding a cup of coffee and he throws it on himself.
Well, what happened is probably, and I can see it happening, I've heard Bischoff explain it, is that he had a cup of coffee in his hand.
Yeah.
Eddie was coming at him probably when Bischoff was fucking upset about something else. Laid out the situation, and Bischoff just didn't want to fucking hear it, had a bad day, or handle the situation poorly. But what he did is he threw the coffee down and away from him.
Right.
But the coffee spilled out before the coffee ended up on the floor. So
the splashback.
Yes, exactly. Didn't splash directly at him, but some of that coffee ended up on him. So then like Eddie's like, already worked himself up to have this conversation, and this guy's his boss, and yet he's like, you motherfucker, you threw coffee on me, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Were you not careful when you had fucking coffee like in your fucking hand? You just carelessly threw it because you're fucking mad and you threw it on me? You fucking piece of shit. Fuck off. Like, that's basically probably his temperament.
Yeah.
In order to appease Eddie, WCW gave him a gimmick that was originally meant for Conan, the leader of the LWO, and this was a good shot for Eddie to come in, do some mic work, and show some personality.
The Chavo stuff was, as a character, always entertaining, but some of the LWO stuff was just fucking hysterical.
Yes.
Like there was one where he made all the luchadors take their mask off.
Oh God, it's so good.
And he went down the line because he was looking for a particular one. And he acknowledged one, like, you're not even Mexican. Get out of here. And then there's like one where he goes, oh, my baby, and he like hugged him like, I haven't seen you in forever. Like, just he had a different thing for each guy. That was just incredible. Like, because it's all him. It's these shadowy backs that you can't fucking see. They can't see their faces because that would fucking kill everything.
Yeah.
So he's got to react differently to each one. Like, it's just this masterclass of just promos really it's incredible. It's my favorite one.
It's so funny you say that. I rewatched that last night and I sent it to Nick and we both marked out like how fucking good that thing is put together. Eddie is fucking brilliant in it.
I don't know who wrote that. I don't know if Eddie riffed it, but it is like a professionally written comedy sketch. It's so fucking good.
And I was also wondering, do you think Eddie screaming basically about a talent union to bring people together, like Vince saw that and was like, oh no, oh shit,
I gotta hire him and then put him on there and protect him from that. But actually, it's funny that you bring up the LWO where you take the mask off. Like, I did an inspiration off that. It was also a little bit of Christmas Vacation, where I had a deal where Tent had a bunch of people in it, and we had people from Queens of Combat pop out, riffing off of LWO. That's riffing off of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That was one of the inspirations for that skit right there. Which, if it was filmed a little fucking better, thanks, Seth Bowman. This is why I can't fucking trust anybody except Brian Penn to film me properly.
It's weird. I just now remember what you're talking about. I told you, that was a good sketch. That was good.
It was.
It was. It's fucking great because I stole it from Eddie Guerrero and Chevy.
That's a good.
Can't fucking go wrong with comedy when you're stealing from those two.
That's true. It's a good point.
So the LWO would mostly feud with Rey Mysterio Jr. as they were desperately trying to get him to join. Also toss in Billy Kidman in there, and they would have a big clash at 98 Starrcade.
This is a huge put over Eddie moment, but the whole thing is Eddie isn't scheduled for this match, so he comes out and then Kidman challenges him, or vice versa. I can't remember. But Eddie, his knuckle lock where he runs up the ropes and does a flying head scissors on his opponent. Eddie does that in jeans and only one shoe.
Yeah.
And you know what? He does it like he's got his boots on and he's in all his gear, because it doesn't matter what Eddie's in. He'll do it wearing fucking leather pants.
The LWO storyline would soon be cut short when real-life tragedy struck Eddie, in a moment that would forever affect Eddie's life and career. Following a New Year's Eve party in the early hours of New Year's Day, Eddie felt a little hungry, so he drove to the store after presumably having a cup of Steve Weisers, and he was clearly not in a positive mindset. He was in the grips of depression, upset with his spot in wrestling, also having a little problems with his wife, Vicky Guerrero, who he married in 1990. Once he grabbed what he needed from the store, he took some GHB, 5 shots of it. GHB was at the time a legal supplement that helped you sleep, and it also helped you recover and grow muscle as you slept. So very popular with pro wrestlers. And if you remember from Rick Rude, had a big role in his death, and Eddie knew it would knock him out. So clearly depressed, he took 5 shots and thought, if I make it home, I make it home. And if I don't, that's okay too. Eddie would not make it home. He turned onto Highway 54, stepped on the gas, and the next thing he knew, he woke up in the hospital surrounded by doctors. Eddie had got his Trans Am up to 130 miles per hour, took a curve where the car flipped over and over and over down an embankment, sending Eddie flying out of the top. When police got to the scene, they saw car parts in the trees and a Trans Am that looked like a flattened Coke can. And the wreck was so horrific, they saw Eddie's body lying on the ground. They didn't even bother checking him because they were sure he was dead.
Ugh.
Following the wreck, Eddie would spend the next few days in and out of consciousness, in and out of surgery, fighting for his life. He had a fractured collarbone, a compressed disc in his spine, broken right hip socket, glass had shredded Eddie's left calf, and just to top it off, a lacerated liver. Eddie was never expected to live, much less walk or wrestle ever again. But after a brutal rehab, he fought back. And as he began to heal, they were like, okay, maybe a year you can wrestle again. He was back at 6 months. And as much of a miracle as his recovery was, it was with great consequences, because this is when Eddie's dependency on pain pills would skyrocket.
The detail that I read that really, set the mood or set the tone is Eddie said before this, he was curling like 40, 45 pounds, like just doing that easy. Coming back from this, he was only curling 5 pounds because every single thing he did hurt. I mean, to drop that much, that really put it in perspective. He was like, yep, fuck, man.
Well, that's what COVID did to my weightlifting life.
Did the opposite for me. I'm fucking crushing it right now. Listen, hard times make hard men, gentlemen. Hard times make hard men.
You see Jake doing all those push-ups? Shit.
Yeah. I did 250 lunges the other day.
Jesus.
So.
How long does 250 lunges take?
As long as it needs to.
All right, fair enough.
My lifetime goal is to bench press 315. The week they shut the fucking gyms down, I did 300. Yeah. And now I probably can't do 10 push-ups.
I run around my neighborhood and wave at dogs.
I will never forget, after this incident, he showed up back on Nitro.
Yeah.
And they had him do commentary, and I don't think he even had a cast on it. They were talking like, Eddie, you had a horrific crash, and this is, like, you're lucky to be alive, and I was like, oh, so like, and I'm a young man, I'm thinking car wreck. Okay, you just swerved off the road and had a car wreck, and it is what it is, and yada yada yada. And then like, well, we have some pictures of the wreck. And I remember as a reckless 17-year-old seeing this wreck that they showed on Nitro and me going, holy shit, how the fuck are you alive right now?
Yep.
And the fact that he's like, what the fuck? Like they were showing pictures of something that did not look like a fucking car. It was like a fucking door in a fucking tree. And it was just such the most nonchalant intro to the most horrific fucking car crash scene that I've ever seen in my life. And Tony Schiavone just very calmly like, well, so you're lucky to be alive, Eddie. And then he's like, yeah, I guess I am lucky to be alive. I go, the fuck you are? Like, this is insane. How are you here right now? How are you walking down to the ring? What the fuck?
And then they zoom in on him slowly, and he says, 'cause I'm Eddie fucking Guerrero.
Like Jake mentioned, he was back on air May 31st, 99. He was back in the fucking ring working again in June. He would form the Filthy Animals with Rey Mysterio and Conan, which is a pretty fun stable.
The one thing I want to say about his comeback match with Hoovy is at the very beginning of it, Hoovy walks up to him and hugs him like, man, I missed you. I'm glad you're okay. Everything's good. They have a little exchange of words. And then we're back into wrestling, and Eddie slaps the living fuck out of Hoovy, and we're off to the races. It's so beautiful.
They'd feud with the Deadpool, which was the Insane Clown Posse, and Vampiro, beating them at Road Wild and Fall Brawl. And then they feuded with the Revolution. It was Shane Douglas, Pegasus Kid, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn.
Yeah, there's Asia was someone part of the Revolution too?
Yes.
I don't remember any of this. I don't know.
Asia with a Y, like China with a Y. You got him, WCW. You got him. That would lead to Eddie's last ever WCW pay-per-view at 99 Mayhem, where the Animals lost to the Revolution. And then Eddie's last ever WCW appearance would be November 22nd, 99, beating Kidman with the Frogga Splash, baby. Then we get into Eddie leaving. He had again grown very frustrated with his spot in the company. Wow. Pegasus, Malenko, and Saturn walked up to him, and the way they said it, they were just like, we're out, you in? He's like, yep. And like that was the whole conversation.
That's the way it seemed from Eddie. He's like, you know I'm ready to get the fuck out of here, right?
They went to Bischoff's replacement, Bill Bush, to ask them for their releases, and after an intern explained who these four strange men were, he granted them their releases, and they walked the fuck out of WCW.
It's been covered a million times over in every single podcast on the planet. Bruce Pritchard can detail it thoroughly. It was one of his more successful ones. There's nothing that we can say that's any more spectacular or interesting or whatever. It just, you could tell that they were right there in the middle. They were referred to as vanilla midgets. You know, it just was like there was a ceiling because there was just shark-infested waters at the top. They could have been happy right there in the middle. They could have been, signing autographs with Buff Bagwell for the rest of their fucking lives, being mid-card WCW guys, or they could try and get into WWE as quick as possible, get in that system, and start having some of the best matches, the best feuds, best checks of their entire career, and get on the other side of the line before WCW just basically falters apart.
And with Eddie's exit from the company, we will wrap up part 2 before he heads to the WWF. And holy shit, 2 Eddie Guerrero podcasts in. Haven't fucking cried yet. We're doing it. I feel good about it.
I teared up on the ECW part towards the end, but it makes sense that I wouldn't tear up on WCW because, it's WCW.
Check us out, 10bellpod.com, patreon.com/10bellpod. Find us all on social medias. Please leave us a rating and review if you have a second. That helps us get our name out there a little more. Jake and Micah?
I'm my pint-sized all-star because I spent $4,000 on a bed. As I said
Whoa!
at the beginning of this podcast. Please, as many of those as you could buy. Don't worry, I didn't sell out. Everybody's like, oh, did you sell out? No, I got 500 of them. And also, too, the company shorted them. So please buy them while you can.
Ooh, rare.
Need them.
Hello, everybody out there. How's it going? You doing pretty good? I'm doing pretty good. Oh, my gosh, I know. I was wanting to remind you about our Patreon. If you enjoy what we do, or if you don't enjoy what we do and are just bad at money management, head on over to Patreon/10bellpod, and there's all sorts of levels. You can open up bonus content. You can pick the wrestler is going to be next. That's the big $50 level. And for $5,000, I'm sure we can convince Jake to come wrestle in your backyard.